Yeah, no steel drums, but kind of metal.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like Caribbean vacation. I don't know. It's funny.
Cool. All right, uploading. Perfect.
Sweet.
Which is good. It'll take a while to upload, and then I'll be able to put it on the Wooger shot. Cool. And you're recording.
I know. I got it right as you said steel drums, which is funny.
Yeah,
always be recording. You know the motto.
Always record. Always record.
Always record from the beginning. That's what you told me in our first episode that we ever recorded together.
Pure gold, always to be had. But sometimes Jackson and I are like, make sure we delete that and burn that clip before anyone hears it.
Oh my God.
So.
The things that would probably be said. I think the best line was Nicole said about you guys after the video that you posted of the sign delivery at our house. She was like, it's like getting a glimpse at like high school Jack and Eric. Or maybe, no, it was Shelly that said it, not Nicole. Nicole said something else funny, but Shelly said the video, no, because she just sent it to me. Shelly said the video of you guys at our house was like getting a glimpse of what the two of you must have been like in high school.
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, yeah, you know what? That makes perfect sense. Like, she's like, I feel like Jack would be the instigator that was like had too much of a plan. It was too smart to get caught. And like Eric would be the one that would like do the crazy plan that like Jack would come up with. And because he just was so excited about it. And I was like, yeah, probably something.
Yeah, like Jack has like the well thought out plan and executed, and I'm the wild card that's like,
ah! Yeah, and like it ends up it being the reason that you get caught.
Right, exactly. Oh yes. Yeah. Yes. If I could sum up my high school days in one sentence, it would probably be he always got caught.
That's hilarious. If I could sum up my high school days in one sentence, it would be way too afraid of getting caught to ever break a single rule.
That's funny. I think Jack and I talked about this before. I wasn't a bad kid. Like I wasn't caught like doing drugs under the bleachers, if kids still do that. Like I didn't drink, so I wasn't at parties. Like, so I didn't get busted at parties. I didn't smoke. And so I never, it was,
it's more just like fun and games. Like I imagine you just doing
for the most part
that were like stupid.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, there was the occasional, like, I got caught at my girlfriend's house when I said I was going to be at the mall. So there was that occasional, but it didn't help when you're driving around in like a bright yellow Jeep because everyone notices that.
I had that too. So I drove, my dad had an old truck that I drove in high school, and it was like a big silver truck, and like everyone, it also had like all these stickers on it. And it's the same license plates I have now that are like the honorably discharged veteran plates. I got caught all over town. Like there was so many situations where my mom would be like, why are you at blah, blah, blah? Someone so-and-so texted me and said you're there. And it's like, I wasn't even anything like bad. Like she was like, it would be like a Saturday morning. And she's like, why are you guys out getting like carry out breakfast food? Like we have food at the house. Like, what are you doing? Like she would just like, it would be like crazy things like that.
Yep.
But yeah. That's funny. No, I mean, the signs were awesome. That was a really exciting evening and morning. Honestly, such good laughs all around. So.
Yeah, I was dragging butt on Thursday, but it was so like just extra cup of coffee got me through, and then I slept like a rock Thursday night. But that was a lot of fun. Like it was Jack and I said that might need to be because I said to him, I was like, I like driving around in the car with you for hours on end. And he said that needs to be our new like internship process is you have to sit in a car with one of us for 6 hours, if not both of us for 6 hours, which is like the Ben Bergeron test. Like if you really want to know someone, like, and if you want to, especially like a worker, like if you want to know that that's somebody you can work with, spend 6 hours in a car with them. It's a 6 hour car ride. Like, and I don't know if that's like out of Ben Bergeron, he is regurgitating the information that he got from someone else, but it's always quality stuff, I think. But
at first I was like, that's insane. And I don't think I would do it. I don't think as much as I love you, I think I would, if that was like the first test, I would have been like, this is a lot. But at the same time, it is a good test.
This is a good podcast then to announce that Ellie Wells will no longer be a coach at Fairwinds CrossFit because she just said it's not worth it.
I just know how I am in the car. Like, okay, bye. Bye forever.
Guys, if you're in the car with the right person, that 6 hours doesn't feel like 6 hours.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you and I can talk and talk and talk and talk and lose track of time. So yeah, maybe that would be okay. I don't know.
I mean, there need to be a bathroom break here and there, which is a good way to kind of break up the.
Yeah.
Like we stopped at, we got Starbucks on the way, and then a couple hours later, we stopped at 7-Eleven to get some more coffee. And I didn't have a mask with me. I didn't have a mask. I was like, and but you know who did have a mask in the car was Fiona, and so it was the littlest bitty thing. So I put that on, and so it basically like this much of my face.
Did you take a picture of this? I want to see that.
No, we didn't. That should have made its way onto the.
Well, just go refind it and take a picture of it, and then we'll use that for the podcast.
But it's this little like Meg made her and Fee like matching ones because the mask kind of freaked Fee out a little bit, and so by making her a matching one, she was like, "Oh, now I have a mask," and she was more comfortable with it. But that's the only one that was in the car, so it's like, "Well, this is what I'm wearing."
That's so funny. That's cute.
So if I sneeze, it would have been like,
like just you totally useless at that point. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Anyway, anything for that coffee, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Good, that's good. Well, I'm glad that you guys did that, and that kind of good kind of segue here. So this weekend's episode that's coming out, or this episode that we're recording right now, when this comes out, this will be episode 9, which is crazy. You and I recorded episode 1 together, and so something I want to do, and something that'll be
8 episodes in, you're running out of guests.
No, I have so many ready to go. I don't know what you're talking about. No, but I do want to do like maybe every 8-ish, 9-ish weeks, like every 2 months, kind of like it's kind of my thought of like have you come back on, kind of just do like a checking in with your coaches episode. And I thought it actually kind of worked out timing wise really well for this, because I feel like we're kind of, now that we're kind of 2 months into this quarantine situation, we're in phase 1 now, I guess, as of last night. Like it's kind of a good time to kind of check in. Not much is changing with beasts, and we'll get into that, but kind of check it. The timing worked out well to do kind of a check in on where we're at going into the summer with us. But it is also something I hope to kind of continue with the podcast of, maybe it's not exactly every 8 weeks, but do a check-in with both of us, kind of just be like, here's what's going on. Here's what we're thinking is going to happen in the next couple months, et cetera, kind of goals and whatnot. So I'll turn it over to you to kind of give it's not really a big announcement. They all kind of know already about what's happening with beasts as we go into phase 1 of the reopening.
Phase wound, as the French call it. So phase 1, essentially what it allows from a gym owner's perspective is you are allowed to start running outdoor classes again. All same social distancing regulations apply, the 6 feet apart, 10 people or less in that area. And all that really means for us is we can start running classes again, but they have to be outside. So for the people watching this on the tubes, like that's if you can even really see it, like that's our outside. So you can't really box stuff in the way, but we have the mats and stuff set up outside. And actually, like at any given point, you're like 6 to 10 feet away from somebody in the middle of a workout. And we actually said like 8 people per class. And so all that means is we can start making our way outside with classes. We don't have to be exclusively on Zoom. But in the case of the adult classes, what that means is we're going to run some classes live. We're going to run some classes online, and we're going to make sure that everyone has what they need to be able to do that. And even that, we're waiting till after Memorial Day. Now, in the case of the Beast, we're going to stay online for a little bit longer. I think we're going to hang with Beasts until phase 2. Phase 2 being you can make your way back into the gym. I think in China, you're back in the gym, but like everything is super separated. I saw this one where like all the ellipticals had like glass shields in between them, or those plexiglass shields in between them. Well, I
saw actually like a little bit more relevant. Like I saw a picture from some CrossFit gym in somewhere in the South. I don't know. Well, some state down there that's already more open and the gyms are open. Basically, like if you imagine the mats that we have on the floor, like the ones you guys took outside, but like you know where like the lines are that separate each part of them. Basically, instead of them all being connected, they kind of like separated them all in the gym.
Yeah.
And on each mat, it had like a barbell and plates and everything. And it was very much like, and it was a picture of the whole class. And it's basically the same setup we have outside the gym right now, but inside the gym. So like, even though you're in the gym, you still kind of have your box,
Yeah.
your little cubicle.
And that's exactly what it'll be, we'll actually have like taped off like quadrants.
Yeah.
So it'll be a very clear cut, like this is your space situation. We'll probably even throw down the lines like, you know, walk up this way, walk down this way, like the grocery store.
I
But
mean,
we're
it's
not
just
even.
like, I was gonna say, it's kind of just like with like, either like a big Saturday WOD or a holiday workout. I mean, the beasts maybe haven't seen as much of that, but you know, like with the adults, like when we have like a holiday workout or Thanksgiving or something that's just like a lot of logistics, when we're like, this is the lane that you walk through, this is the lane that you like come back in through. Like if you're going out to run, you go out this way, you come in this way, and like stay in your kind of path. So it's gonna be like that, but just like a little bit more.
Yeah, which like during those, like it was a very like there's cones here, follow the cones. This is gonna be a much more like clearly defined.
Yeah.
Like the floor is black and the tape is bright fluorescent neon green.
Yeah.
Very clearly that is your spot. You step over that line and it is a foul punishable by death.
Yeah, you know, the tape is lava, you know, that can be like, you know, like it can be so.
So, but that's like, that's down the line. We don't even know. And phase one is still very much like, I'm glad we're waiting till after Memorial Day. I think a lot of people are glad too, because at the end of the week, there could be a spike and Governor Hogan's like, well, okay, hold on. Let's go back to pre-phase one. And in which case,
personally, I feel like that's gonna, because the other states, like you already saw this with Texas, they opened a couple weeks ago, like they already like went a step back again. I think that might be fake news. Don't listen to me. But like the point is, like it's happening in other places where they're opening and then reclosing, so it's possible that will happen again.
Yeah, and so it is possible, but what our setup and our planning has allowed us to be able to do that seamlessly. So if it means like, especially like I said, with Beast, we're probably just kind of, with Beast, we're staying online. We'll talk about phase two when we get to phase two, which will be back in the gym. Right now, all the Beasts need to know is, hey, we're staying online with our classes from 4 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and then Saturday mornings. I know it's tough. It was a tough decision with the Beasts too, because I feel like the Beasts more than anyone are kind of missing that social interaction. Because they're also, you know, some of our younger Beasts too. What's up, Kel? Some of our Kelly Jones is here. Some of our younger Beasts, it's they're at the mercy of their parents. Like they don't just get to go.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, let's kind of open up that briefly of kind of like, I think that. So what I was gonna say is like we can kind of open that up a little bit, because I'm sure that, you know, a lot of Beasts are maybe disappointed that we're not going back to some live stuff when, you know, adult classes do, or kind of curious the thought processes there and kind of what we were thinking. But I think like, and I'll say kind of what I think my understanding is as the number one reason, and then you can elaborate, is that the difference between like Beast classes and adults classes is that there's only one time of them during the day. And so if people are in a position where they can't or don't feel comfortable coming back into person for Beast, it's not like they have another option like they would for adults. And also, you guys, a lot of you don't drive, and so you're relying on your parents, as Eric said, and it just gets tricky, and it's just kind of better and safer to follow Anne Arundel County and wait until like the school, you know, because schools are still closed, follow that and wait until we're kind of fully back in the gym in whatever capacity that looks like.
And you're absolutely right. And it's A, you're kind of at the mercy of your parents, and B, like I said, some people may be comfortable, some may not. And it was also the question of, you know, there's just the two of us, and it would mean, okay, we're gonna have to run a live and run a Zoom, which means you're coaching 4 days a week, which means I'm back coaching 4 days a week. And then if something were to happen, that it becomes like this, oh, well, shoot, one of us is going to have to coach. Let's say I can't, like, let's say something happens and I can't be here and you need a coach, you know, like, and you're like, well, I'm not, you know, you can't get to the gym, you can run it live. And then there's this whole, we know that Zoom is working. People are showing up on Zoom. It's the best we can do. It's that right now it's a good, simple default until we can kind of all get back on the same page. And so again, with the one class, it makes it a lot simpler to just, let's keep it this way for now. Don't fix what ain't broken, because it logistically and financially and emotionally would become a little bit taxing right now to try to, because it would could potentially end up being this big back and forth and just get really
Yeah.
confusing. And so,
And I think, and it goes back to, and like Jack had been kind of saying this in some of our conversations, but you know, we said we want to be consistent too. And so then if all of a sudden we're changing what the plan is temporarily, you know,
be consistent.
Be consistent. Yeah,
Almost,
you're actually underlining it perfectly.
yeah.
But like if we start to mix it up just for this kind of phase one part where we're outside and we're saying that you're doing in person, I'm doing Zoom, it's not consistent and it gets kind of confusing, like you said.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of room for error. So it's better to do, what is it, Jack? Like Jack or you says, do less better. Like
Do less better.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, like it's like we're gonna just do what we're doing because it is working. Like I think that was kind of my next question of where I wanted to go of like, what do you kind of see as some things that have worked really well with Zoom, or some things that unexpectedly are benefits, specifically with Beast, but also kind of in general?
So what I
Coaching wise.
love, so specifically with Beasts, you know, I'm going to use Caitlin as an example.
Love it.
Caitlin had swimming a couple days a week, and this is my selfish things are working. You got to see Caitlin more.
Fine.
We got to
Yeah.
see Caitlin more, and so whereas Caitlin can't get in the pool and swim right now because that's just not possible, we were able to transition to, we can do this online, and Caitlin's able to rock and roll, and she's able to do it with her brother, who was also like, when we open up back the gym, I hope that Adam joins us in the gym as well. And so
Yeah.
for Caitlin, it's work that, yeah, it stinks. She doesn't have a pool, so she can't keep working on swimming. But for her training otherwise, we're able to keep going and make sure she's still getting fit and still getting strong. So when they get back in the pool, it's just kind of, it's now kind of getting back into that pool shape, which just means, you know, time and volume and laps in the pool. But otherwise, she's still getting strong. She's still moving well. She's keeping her, you know, capacity up and all that good stuff. And so one thing that's working is that for those that were doing sports, you know, Soph was playing soccer, and Hugh and Alec, I think, were playing baseball, and those all got nixed. Well, you can't go play those, but you can keep doing this. And so if anything, it's been a great thing for them to be able to stay active, stay fit, stay strong, and keep moving. Now, on the case of like, we haven't seen the Ryan boys in a few weeks, but I know the Ryans are like, they're not sitting on their couch playing video games. They're out, they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
Like they're out on the boat all day, and they've gone fishing, and they're out riding their bikes. And at the end of the day, they're active. And that's kind of the point of this, is we want our beasts to be active. And I know that when we get back into classes, they'll be right back into it. If it's a rainy day, maybe they'll show up. I know for Patrick, for example, Patrick is loving it because he gets to do the workouts in his basement by himself.
Yeah.
Patrick is a lone wolf, and so I've been checking in with him here and there, just make sure he's doing all right. But I think it's worked really well. I think just like our adult classes, maybe there's something there down the line. So, you know, a couple of our athletes, maybe they are playing sports, maybe they are doing something, but they still want to try to get this in somehow. Maybe this is open an opportunity for us to be able to make it simple, like, hey, you can't make 4 to 5 p.m., but Ellie's taking on Coach Ellie wants to take on the role of a 2-time-a-week virtual coach. Or maybe it is like a more, hey, here's the workouts, here's some training, you can provide some video feedback and kind of get to that. So I think what it's allowing is also this opportunity for a Caitlin who, man, I think she really likes this.
Yeah, I think so.
We can't get rid of her. And I always forget too, Caitlin has been doing this for a long, she's coming up, if not already, 2 years. And and so maybe it is something that when she transitions back to swimming, maybe there is a 3rd or 4th day in there for her. Because again, she swims, but she also lives on like the other side of the state.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
get signed, but that doesn't mean she's not gonna get one.
Yeah, it's like for people like that, or you know, even Tate, who's in Texas, like people that are not in the area, like there's a lot of possibility there.
Yeah,
I would love that. I mean,
So that was
Like
kind of,
selfishly, like as my schedule might change in the next couple of years as I'm teaching, like to do virtual stuff later in the evening for people
yeah.
that can't make the 4 o'clock or whatever. Like, I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen, but like, I love that there's a lot of possibility for growth and innovation within this program.
Yep.
And also just within the gym as a whole, that there's so many ways that this can play out. No, I like that. I kind of was thinking like with Zoom, I feel like one thing that's gone so well, like exceeded expectations. And honestly, the beasts are better than the adults in the adult classes that I go to, at least. At the beasts, you guys are so present in the Zoom classes. And I don't know if that's because of school or what, but like you guys are not, even if you have a sibling there or something, you're not really having like side conversations. You're not like, there was a little bit of that in the beginning. Don't get me wrong. But you guys all kind of like shook it out. And like, this is like, you treat it as if we're in the gym.
At some
Everyone is
point I
taking
was
it.
going to tie Adam to a tree. I was going to drive over there and tie Adam to a tree.
Yeah, there was one point when all the Ryan boys and the crew were, someone were in the garage where I was like, oh my gosh, just mute yourself if you're gonna have all these side conversations.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, honestly, like I feel like that was just week one and just kind of getting the wiggles out as.
And even though we can't see Lily, we know she's there.
Well, maybe you can't see Lily, but.
Oh, did she not? Did she get on camera
like
for you?
she does like I'll have her set up like this. Like I was like, I want to see if I can know when you started begin. Like that's what so I know you're where you're at. I'm like, I don't need.
Mine's like, hey Lily, you ready to go?
Yeah, that's what she does in the beginning, and then I'm like, can you just scooch a little bit so I can see like a shoulder? But no, like I think like on it, like seriously, like such great active listeners. That's so cheesy, and like my mom is like clapping at me for saying that because like she's like she was early childhood teacher, and she's big on like active listening, like with your eyes, ears, and heart. Like, but like you guys do listen with your eyes, ears, and heart. Like everyone is like watching. Everyone is listening. Like, and you guys, I can always tell that like even on days where I can tell that some of you are maybe like a little more stressed or tired, like you're listening and you're present. And it's really freaking hard to be present on Zoom with more than one person. Like when it's just me and you, or like it's a one-way, like FaceTime-ish kind of conversation, it's super easy to just pay attention to the conversation. But I even find like in our staff meetings of like,
what are you saying? There's a dog out there. I was distracted.
But as soon as you get 3 people, 4 people, even for just like meetings, like I'm even like in our staff meetings sometimes I'm like, oh shoot, and I like zoned out. Like it's hard to like look at a screen and have a conversation with a group of people. And I think it is much harder to be on a screen and treat it as if it's a class that's in the gym and not get distracted. Like I mean, personally, like when I work out on Zoom, it's usually with one of my parents because they're both members and work out, and that's just, how the schedule shakes out around here. And I even find it's really hard, like, because we're on mute, like all of a sudden we're having a little side conversation, or, we say something, or someone walks by and we like say something to them because we're in the driveway, and like we're not great at it. And I work really hard to like, as soon as I catch myself doing that, be like, oh, okay, like, and try to like refocus and like be an active listener in class. But like, it doesn't seem like it's that hard for the beats to be super attentive, active listeners. So that's kind of one thing that has exceeded my expectations, because I kind of thought that would be harder to kind of keep everyone engaged and focused. But
I totally agree. Much, I said early on, it was a little like, but they've really kind of found a good, they're totally into it. And some days I feel it's tough some days because I feel like they're dragging. I hate mute. I would just prefer I would prefer everyone not be on mute. But when there's background noise and stuff, it can be distracting. But it's especially like, if I use Caitlin again, who's always like, all right, today's warm up, and Caitlin's like, nap. And it's like, so everyone's like dragging a little bit because they're tired or it's sleepy, and I'm uncomfortable with silence. That's why I'm a talker, and I tell dad
no
jokes.
Way.
I don't
never would have noticed.
I don't like silence, and so I need that reassurance and that validation just by you, like, even the head nod, like no, I need like a yes, sounds good, coach, let's do it.
That's funny.
So hopefully they listen to it and do that. But anyway, they really are. I totally agree with you on that one. Super with their mind, hearts, and parts.
No, I mean, it's cool. Like I don't know. Like that just has been on my mind recently, and I think it's gone well. And I think it's kind of what has made this work for, like, and honestly, like, there was, like you're saying, like, week one, we were all getting all of our wiggles and shakes out and figuring it all out. But I was like, I remember in the first week of this, I was like, how is this going to work? Like, I was like, they're going to be so distracted, like, and not faulting anyone, but I was like, it's hard to stay focused on Zoom. It's hard to take it as seriously as you would in the gym.
Right.
Like, how is this going to work? And then everyone just kind of jumped into it and has been embracing it, and it's made my life easier. I think your life easier too, probably.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been awesome. So I definitely think there's a lot of good that has come out of this. I miss everyone.
Oh,
and I didn't open a gym to, talk to everyone online, but in the grand scheme of things, like if this lasts a few months over the course of, our lease is for 5 years, and the way things are going, we have every intention to up that lease in the next couple of years. But like in the grand scheme of things, if this lasts like 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, that's still. Jack said this to me the other day, and I was like, it's a good point. It's a drop in the bucket compared to the grand scheme of things. So if we don't see athletes for another month or two, and that's 4 months, we don't see them over the course of 5 years, it seems game changing, but if anything, it's just really kind of allowed us opportunities to kind of see what else we could actually do to provide for our beasts. Because I know beasts more so than any adult are limited, because they're in school most of the day. They're at the mercy of their parents being able to drive them places depending on how old they are, or even so if they have a car. Sports schedules, because some of them play sports, and then also just I had a fourth one: parents, school. Oh, and they only have one class a day to choose from, so as opposed to 5 or 6.
Multiple, yeah.
So, but they've been anyway. Yeah. So that's I. If anything, what I wanted to make sure, assuming people are still on here listening, which why wouldn't they be? Beasts are staying online, not as a slight to the beasts, not as they're not important enough to come back to the gym. It's we want to make sure this thing keeps working because we've gotten so much good out of it, more so than I think you and I anticipated, that we want to make sure that it stays that way until we are 100% sure that we can get back here and keep it with some sort of consistency.
I love that. That's beautifully said. Yeah.
Thank you. So that's
because I think, I don't know. Yeah, not as any slight, but I even think about myself, like with the adult classes, of like, if we come back and we get in a good little like habit of being back in the outside classes, and then we get shut down again, like that's going to be like a whole like heartbreak all over again that I'm like trying to emotionally prepare myself for. So I guess there is the part of us that is trying to protect the beasts from that little heartbreak. Like, not that you guys like, are fragile and, or anything, but we were trying to do our best.
You don't even know heartbreak yet. You have no idea what heartbreak is. So knowing that could be a big, like you said, if a paper cut's the worst pain you've had in your life, if that's like the most pain you've ever felt, it's a big deal. And so some of you have no idea what heartbreak is, and I do not want us to have to shut it down after bringing it back in to be the worst pain in your life at that moment.
Yeah, we want to be a happy, wonderful thing for you guys. We don't want to inflict pain. Well, yeah.
I don't want you to be Liz in 11th grade during the summer. Sorry, flashback.
Is there a story when Eric needs to go to some therapy?
That was like hard. I'll tell you, just talking about heartbreak, if I can go off on this tangent, like my first like real like heartbreak was a girl. I was 11th grade, she was in 10th grade, and we were dating for a little while, and then she just started like, and I will totally admit, I was probably pretty clingy. I am not afraid to admit that. I am a hopeless romantic. I think I just want to be with that person all the time, and I didn't really know how to regulate that, being as like my first, and she had several boyfriends before me.
As a good old 10th graders.
It was a good old 10th grade. I mean, like I said, I was a junior, and I was like, this was my first like serious relationship, and she just started like distancing herself, which made it, and didn't tell me why. She just started distancing herself, which drove me crazy. And then she just
Eric, she
decided
was social distancing from you before
she
it was
but here's
kind of a time.
so I was like, okay, things aren't feeling great, so I need to do like a grand gesture to let her know, like, this is the
Oh no,
greatest thing
Eric,
going. And so,
no.
well, her birthday was coming up, and so she loves Dave Matthews, and I got her Dave Matthews tickets. I do not like Dave Matthews. He's okay. I just don't, not my cup of tea. And so I bought her tickets for her birthday, and it was straight up like, hey, I know you love Dave Matthews. I got you these tickets to his show.
She
You do
didn't take
not
you, did
like,
you?
and I was like, you do not have to take me. Like,
Oh.
take anyone you want. And I think she felt obligated to take me, which was like, okay. So we went, but I was excited that she wanted to take me. And she was like miserable the whole darn show. And it was like, so she was just like, meh. And she didn't want to like hold my hand, or she didn't want to like really converse with me. She was quiet the whole ride. And she got one of those like glow sticks that you put in your mouth. Have you ever seen those? It's a glow stick
That you
put in your mouth.
actually put in your mouth?
Yeah. And it
Oh,
broke
I don't know.
in her.
One time I drank a glow stick in like fourth
So,
grade, but it was not recommended.
so you can relate because the thing broke in her mouth.
Oh
And
God.
then she was like, I need water, I need water. And we're like, she was just like miserable the whole time. She broke up with me the next day. And so I was like, okay, you've been dragging me along for a couple months now, driving me crazy. I got you this thinking things would be great. You didn't seem to have the best time. And the next day you broke up with me, which was just like, were you like waiting to break up with me till after the Dave Matthews concert? Because if you broke up with me,
100%.
and so like, but it was just like, and I knew she liked another guy because within a couple
Oh.
weeks she was dating this other guy. But it was like, those were like dark, cloudy days, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And
Yeah.
in retrospect, like now, it's like, okay, things can be way worse than that. Believe me.
But as you were trying to do my quote. Well, it's really my dad's quote of, if the worst thing that ever happened to you is paper cut, it's still the worst thing that ever happened to you until you get a bigger paper cut.
Yeah, and she was a pretty, very pretty paper cut.
I'm glad this turned into Eric's therapy hour.
So,
well, as we kind of wrap things up, because I gotta go see if anyone wants to
Yeah,
hang
that's
out
right, you
for
got a
some
class.
Saturday beasts. I guess, do you have any questions for me? Anything you want to hear my opinion on about how things have been going, or?
Hey, where do
No.
babies come from? Different podcast. Next podcast.
Eric, already had your therapy
Well,
session for your high school relationship.
I think I actually kind of pulled it out of you. It was my like kind of ninja way of like, hey, if this virtual thing becomes something that we can continue with, to Coach Dubs. And I already kind of knew the answer, but I already kind of pulled it out of you because
I mean, at the end of the day, this is my bread and butter. Like, I coached one class in the gym fully as a paid coach before we shut down.
Oh, wow. That's true.
And I assisted for a while, but I coached one class on my own before we shut down. Like, I am just it's all I've known is this. Well, so this could just be my bread and butter, my expertise, my little niche.
And this has been cool because I didn't just bring you on to be like a second coach for me to like take a couple, take Tuesdays and Thursdays off. It's if I wanted this program to grow, whether it's in the gym or somehow outside of the gym, what does that look like? And I think we kind of forced our hand in showing that like, hey, you have a gift when it comes to this. Like you're really smooth on the, on here. And so maybe that's what that growth looks like down the line. So that's why I said, like, I think I kind of got it out of you already. That would have been my question is like, if this thing grew to a more virtual coaching thing, is that something that Ellie Dubs would want to roll with? And obviously that's a deeper discussion we have down the line, but it's been cool. And if that's something that Beasts might be interested in to an extent down the line, because again, of schedule limitations, that sort of thing, like maybe it's something that we do just like with our adults. There's opportunities there that to make this, make Beast a beast of a program.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I mean, I think for so many reasons, like, I think that, well, this is a two-part statement. On one hand, like, I'm really excited to see what happens and how Fairwinds grows as a whole, but especially Beasts out of this and kind of in the next couple years in the aftermath of this situation. Because like you said, I think there's so many areas for growth. But the other thing I wanted to say is, like, I do think that I've seen so much growth on like a personal level with the Beasts through this time that, like, I know it's like hard to see this, like, this is me kind of talking to them, like, it's hard to see it in the moment, but I do think that you guys are all going to be in so much better positions of just like as people at the end of this. Like, I think that you guys have really embraced this challenge, and like, just like we were saying with, you know, if the, like, your first heartbreak is the hardest, or the first paper cut is the worst. Like, I think that the next time something hard or challenging happens to you, whether that's, you know, in college or way later in life, like, you're going to be better off because you're more resilient. And like, that's certainly something that like I've seen in my life of like every new challenge, like, is such an opportunity for growth and does make the next thing easier, or does make you more prepared for the next thing, and
Yeah.
really just helps you kind of figure out, sounds so cheesy, it does really help you figure out like who you are. Like, every time there's been something that's like feels like the end of the world, or feels like it's like the most terrible thing that I could ever imagine happening, like at the end of it, I have like a better understanding of like the direction that I want to go with my life, or who I am, or what's important to me. And like, that sounds so cheesy, but it is really true. And I hope that, you know, the beats start to kind of see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that, you know, I think we're all going to be better off at the end of this.
Yeah, I think so too. At least I hope so.
I think so.
So
Good.
yeah, cool.
I'm glad we did this check-in.
State of the beasts. Awesome.
Yeah, I gotta go. I guess, you know, I think it looks like I'm having a couple of people are texting me about how many dumbbells I need for the workouts. I think I'll have some people for Beast today, which is exciting. Saturday Beast.
Awesome.
It's a beautiful day.
It is. Nice one to be outside.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to a park later as well. So.
All right, cool. You're gonna do
It's
this workout.
time.
Take your dumbbell and do this workout. Come on, this workout's awesome. Today's workout. Not the, like this one.
The adult workout or the
adult
Beast
workout? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna wake up and.
It's okay. You got stuff on your mind. You got a class to teach. I got you. You're doing great.
I know. As like when my alarm went off, I was like, it'd be a really quick turnaround to like eat quick and then do the podcast. And I was like, or I could just sit here with the dog on the couch and eat my breakfast and drink my coffee and then not work out. So yeah, that's what I did.
You should work out.
I will do it at some point today.
Cool. Awesome.
All righty. Well, thank you, friend.
Thank you, Coach Dub.
When I see ya.
There it is, right there. Right at you.
All right. See
Later,
ya.
skater.
Later.